There's once again another major update to the Uncle Howdy plans, so we'll see what's new there. We'll also check out Bobby Lashley's new member, what's going on with Jimmy Uso, and more. Let's start things off with the latest update for Uncle Howdy and the Bray Wyatt universe. Over the last few days, Uncle Howdy's name has been plastered all over reports, with the claim that Triple H was open to listening to creative pitches for Uncle Howdy to be brought back to WWE television and used in a proper way to honor Bray Wyatt's legacy, his universe, and all of his creations. Well, now there's finally some more details to what those plans could possibly include. Reports are now claiming that the plans include the Firefly Funhouse, the Wyatt Six, and of course, Uncle Howdy, are all expected to proceed, all in the name of keeping Bray Wyatt's legacy alive on WWE television. And the news of that report absolutely blew up amongst the community, because everyone was excited to hear that Bray's legacy may be continued in this great way. No doubt it's still very hard to imagine a Wyatt faction or an episode of the Firefly Funhouse without the original creator of all these things. But if WWE has an amazing and creative way to keep everything from Bray's legacy going through Uncle Howdy, then fans will definitely love to see it. The Uncle Howdy character was originally voiced by Bray Wyatt himself in the early weeks of first appearing on WWE television. But if the plans are for Howdy to now lead all the operations, it looks like we can definitely expect Bo Dallas to be a bit more vocal with his portrayal of Uncle Howdy to truly lead everything and keep it going. Of course, friends, family, and the fans are still devastated about the big loss to the WWE family. And it was a massive hard pill to swallow that Bray Wyatt had all these plans and story plots he was going to get to during this return run, but how he didn't even get to really scratch the surface of all the great ideas he had in his mind. It was so hard to fully wrap your head around the fact that we'll never see him again. We'll never see the Funhouse or any of his other characters and stories again. But if this rumor is true, if Triple H and WWE Creative knew what Bray had in mind and they were going to go with the story and they plan on keeping that going strong through Howdy, then it does sound very exciting for diehard Bray Wyatt fans to still be able to see a bit of his universe still stick around on WWE television. The Wyatt Six is obviously a part of this report. The rumored faction has been discussed by fans for over a year now after Bray Wyatt had changed his Twitter display name to Wyatt Six. We never got many details or information about the group besides the display name teaser, but fans suspect that it was pretty straightforward. It would have been a 6-person faction. So to hear that faction may be continuing, and that we'll get to see some version of the faction, is also very exciting. We'll have to wait and see how much of this report and rumor actually becomes true, but as of right now, lots of things from Bray Wyatt's universe appears to have a chance to return to WWE television. Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits have been having quite the development recently on Smackdown. They started off as an edgy babyface trio, but after suffering some embarrassing losses and not really getting the job done to their liking, the group turned heel and became a heel trio. The Street Profits have completely changed their demeanors and dropped their previous act and are extremely more serious. The three of them even having matching gear, and they're looking like they're continuing down a great path. But unfortunately, the trio suffered a big loss at Fastlane to the LWO and the returning Carlito. So telling by that big loss, the group's transition may not even be done yet. Bobby Lashley was done and quit on the Street Profits after they suffered one big loss a few weeks back on SmackDown. So one just has to assume that Bobby Lashley will be even more irate after suffering a premium live event loss that his name is directly connected to. It's because of the Street Profits that Lashley lost their matchup, so we can only assume that Lashley will give them a hard time or even try to move on from them again. Which brings us to the new rumor surrounding this group. Reports claim that WWE is already heavily discussing another new edition of Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits group. This rumored new addition to the group is Odyssey Jones. Jones had a great run in NXT. It was so great that he was called up to the WWE main roster during the most recent drafts. But despite being drafted to the main roster, he's yet to appear in any capacity on either Raw or SmackDown. The rumor since July has been that, despite being drafted to Raw, that Odyssey Jones will appear on SmackDown. So that SmackDown rumor does line up with this new rumor that he could possibly join Bobby Lashley's group on SmackDown. What's unknown is obviously how Jones will come into the fold. Maybe we're already witnessing the start of Jones's introduction to the group to what happened at Fastlane. Not only was Bobby and the Street Profits embarrassed with the loss during the match with LWO, but LWO gained an additional member to the group with Carlito. The LWO now features just around 6 members to Bobby's 3 members. So maybe Bobby's Fastlane reaction is that he needs to add more depth to the group if he plans on hanging in there with the LWO. And that's how Jones gets brought in. The LWO also features another threat that Bobby has no answer for, and that's Zelina Vega. Bobby doesn't have a woman in this group, and that could cancel out Zelina. So it'll be interesting if that's also addressed. Bobby Lashley has spoken himself about adding Jade Cargill to the group, and fans have discussed their interest of seeing Bianca Belair in the group as well. So any of those 2 women, or maybe another woman, that's out there could be a big opportunity. Could step into the group and handle Zelina Vega for them. It's definitely an exciting time for Bobby Lashley and the Street Profits. We'll have to see what adjustments they make following Carlito's addition to the LWO. With Jimmy's recent storyline, it did appear like WWE was using Roman's limited part-time schedule as part of the story, and we got some massive confirmation of that on the October 6th edition of Smackdown. A backstage camera caught Paul Heyman arguing with Jimmy Uso about how everything still needs to be authorized by Roman Reigns. Jimmy Uso's counter to that remark was that Roman's gotta be here to authorize things, and how Roman is never here. Jimmy Uso also said that's why he's been the one making his own moves for the bloodline, because he's the one that's actually here. So it's looking like they're setting up some major conflict there between Roman and Jimmy. Jimmy Uso has been portrayed as a bloodline member in the months that Roman Reigns has been away from the company. But like it's been hinted at many times, Roman Reigns never authorized Jimmy coming back into the bloodline. Jimmy is basically in the bloodline unauthorized because of Roman's long absence. But once Roman is back here coming up real soon, he'll likely kick Jimmy back out and punish him for trying to take the tribal chief spot while he was gone. Also, not to mention that Jimmy embarrassed the family with a loss at Fastlane. So a lot to look forward to there. It doesn't look like Jimmy will get off the hook for everything he's been doing at all. But what are your thoughts on today's stories? Leave your comments below. Don't forget to subscribe with all notifications on and leave a like if you enjoyed. Thanks for watching, guys.